Our judge tonight is John Powers, and I'm going to use an old intro or bio. If there's new stuff, you can fill us in.
Nothing.
While living in Tokyo, John used Japan as his base for 6 years for his travel photography throughout Southeast Asia, focusing on such places as India, Myanmar, Burma, the Philippines, China, Hong Kong, Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, and of course, Japan. Returning to the USA just over it would be longer now. 3 years. What's it now?
7.
7 years. John will continue his travel photography in Asia once the pandemic subsides. This tells you how long ago this is. In the meantime, John has been focusing on local reenactment events, capturing reenactors in archaic tintype effect. And you have been doing that a lot. As for photographic highlights, he was awarded Photographer of the Year from the Professional Photographers of Hawaii several times, and from the Professional Photographers of Los Angeles County. John had his first book published just prior to the pandemic entitled Vietnam Today, a photographic tour of its peoples and landscapes. He holds the Master of Photography degree from PPA, as well as the Certified Professional Photographer credentials. And I will, you want to go ahead and switch over to.
Yeah.
Okay,
Didn't he win some kind of big award at PTA? National Photographic Competition, he took the whole enchilada.
Yeah, that's pretty big.
What?
Didn't he win something at International Print Photographic Competition 2 years ago?
Well,
EPA.
and 2 years ago, John won the International Press Competition, the first place grand prize winner. So awesome. So tonight, our theme or our class for tonight is Welcome to the Past. And that includes historic sites, buildings, antiques, and relics of the past. This can include images of people in period costume. And it's very open, whatever sort of editing, just no AI. That's a good thing. And I'm gonna hand this over to
John.
Okay, great to be here. Thank you for being this evening. Looking forward to this.
and if you want to say anything before you.
You're a great group of people. I've been here before. How much should I butter them up? No, I look forward to this evening and stepping into the past. That's a favorite subject of mine. As mentioned, that when I'm not traveling overseas, which are things of the past. Saturday, I was up in San Luis Obispo, photographing the 40th anniversary of the Renaissance Fair. And the weekend before, I was in Long Beach, where they had their pirate festival. And I was photographing that. So that's a lot of fun to do those kind of things. So I'm excited to see what you have here. Buildings, antiques, relics of the past. There is so much to see. So I'm really excited to see what you have to share with us this evening. So, and is this Zoomland right here?
That is Zoomland.
Hi, you guys. Good to see you. You guys look great out there.
That's how you're looking, never goes up.
Okay.
You sure already?
I did not.
And I'm going to be sharing this evening what I'm looking at in here and some things to make the images better or affirming what is there. Great.
Okay, should we get started?
Yep.
All right. I think everybody can see that on Zoom. If not, somebody say something. So, we normally do a quick run through and then go to the top and then you can get comment. So the first category is novice and there's only 4. So, one more thing.
Go to the bottom and click on that.
All right. It's a quick run through.
Yeah, good. Sorry. So,
And there's our first one.
Go for it.
All right. Okay, on this one here, this is the novice category, correct? Okay. The first thing I look at this and I'm going, the subject matter is an old spinning wheel of some type here. What it exactly is, I don't know, but that's not important. When you're looking at something like this, you're going, okay, this is great. Some people would say, it's kind of cut at the top there. It should get the whole wheel up there and so forth. I would disagree with it. I like it being cropped there. It's what you call tension. And when you have tension in a photo, it draws you in there. If you notice, a lot of times you'll see people being portraits done with them, and they'll crop at the forehead and so forth. And that's very exciting. And that's what's going on here. So that's a good crop right there at the top there. You don't necessarily have to have the whole wheel up there, which is really nice. And I like that they've done that. Another thing that they've done is if you look at the lines going there, they're straight. You don't have this offset. One of the things you're looking at in a photograph, it's okay for photos to be tilted if they're like 30 degrees or something like that. Again, there's a dynamic tension going on there at 30 degrees and you go, wow. But if something's off by 3 degrees, you're kind of going, is it straight? Is it not straight? And all that, you need to either be straight or just really cut it along the line. And this is cut straight, which is very good. Shows a good discipline going on here. So well done by the maker. Now I'm going to presume, looking at this, that what I'm looking at is how it actually is, because I want to share some things that maybe the maker would like to keep in consideration for the future. And one of the things is you have like a sepia tone over this, which is a nice touch. You think of old features and so forth, you're looking at an old image. Seeing it in a sepia tone really adds to it to make it look old like that and antique. And so I applaud the maker on that. Oh, by the way, for those that don't know, I'm sure most do, I had no idea who took any of these photos. So I can be very objective and not worry about hurting anybody's feeling. Or tonight I may hurt everybody's feelings, so it's okay. But those are a lot of great things going. But something for the maker to consider, when you put a sepia tone or any kind of tone, you might want to think of having the entire image covered with that same tonality there. And you're not quite getting that in this image. You're seeing, especially in the bottom right corner there, it's kind of, you can see it's whitish down there, and the sepia tone doesn't quite go down, and you see a little bit of it in the camera left corner, and in fact, in the other 2 corners you do. Now that's probably, when I see 3 of those 4 corners with that off-white like that, it's probably a vignetting that was put on there. The maker was trying to put a little vignette on there, which if you look at old photos, a lot of them will have a white vignette around it. But unfortunately, in the bottom right, it's overwhelming there and you lose that consistency. So for the maker, I would consider getting that sepia tone all the way through. And in this particular case, that white vignetting is a little too soft. If you look at an old photo, there's a strong vignetting that goes on in the white there. And this is just a little too soft. It's one of those, either put the vignette in or don't put the vignette in. It's kind of in between there. So you're not sure if there's a light coming in from the left and the right and it's blowing it out, or if it's an intentional vignette. So you might want to rework that. And my recommendation is just put a straight vignette through the entire thing. And that would really help. It's a good subject, it's cropped well, it's well balanced, and I like the idea of putting that sepia tone on. Now, I need guidance here, Kathy. I wasn't told how long to speak to each image. Am I talking too much or do I need to? 2 minutes, okay? I went 2.3 minutes, I thought. It's okay. I'll cut it back to 2 minutes, okay? So. Right. Okay, next image. All right, here they did not go with the sepia tone, and I say thank you to the maker on that. You look at that pink Cadillac, I presume I don't know vehicles, I'm sorry, I presume it's a Cadillac. That pink car, that is great. That is definitely a car I would not buy. But it does capture how it's something from the past. And also the car behind it there, in the burgundy color back there is obviously a car even older than the one in front. And what I like is the contrast here. You have an old car and an older car, and yet contrast it with an old building, but a building that is probably predates both of those put together. So you've got old vintage going across this entire image here. The colors are great. You look a little complementary colors going on here. You have that pink Cadillac, and if you look at the window, it even looks like the curtain is pink. So it's a nice balance going on there that kind of brings the whole image together in a very nice way. I like the way this is cropped. You don't need the whole building. This part of the building in here tells the story of what you need to know. So it's a good eye. The maker of this image has a very good eye. They know what they're doing here. You've got another thing that you don't want to, a big thing that photographers or judges look at an image is we're big on what you call the 1/3 rule. You try to get everything into like 1/3. But you see that Cadillac there, which is the star of this image, it's dead center. And that works nicely. It's really nicely works there. Because you have a balance. Not only do you have the baseline with that pink Cadillac, but you have the car to the right and the part of the house to the left. So you've got yourself a troika going on here, well balanced here, and it's very nicely done. One thing I would suggest to the maker and to help improve this probably is if you look at the roof there, it looks to be a little too blown out there. I'm not too sure what's causing all that white there. It might be the material, but if you would just tone down that roof just a little, because what you want to do is colors will draw your eye to where the subject is. And while the house is part of the subject, those cars really are, especially that pink Cadillac, that's the star of this image here. But your eye keeps gravitating to that white. You got that blob of white up, camera left up there. Tone that down so that your eye can stay focused on the whole image, but especially that pink Cadillac there. So if you just would tone that down, burn it in a little bit there and bring that white down, and that would really help. And you've got yourself a great image there. It is a very good image. So I applaud the maker on this. Wonderful. That was 1.8 seconds. There you go. All right, here you go. This is an interesting photo right here. I like the way that this is structured. Again, you don't have, if you notice, you don't have the whole car in, you don't have the whole rail in the back end, and that's okay. It's nice here the way you have that, the automobile just off to the right there. Both old images that fit the vintage style that you're looking at. I like that the train in the back is blurred. A lot of people, including myself, you're always looking for clarity. You want things to be sharp. You know, I like tact sharp. It's wonderful, and that's important for the eye. But you don't need it here. Having that blur of the train going by like that, that movement, that action is good. This is a great example of where a little blurring goes on very well here, because they timed this very nicely. You have the vehicle there and you have the train passing by at some rate there, but you know there's movement going on, and it's intentional. That's good. You want intentionality in your image. It tells a great story. And so I applaud the maker on that. One thing that
that should be done, in my opinion, that would help this image a little, because you're always looking to see, how can I improve my image a little? What can I do to make it a little better than what it is? And in here, that car, again, is the main part here, but it's so bright. And the gravel behind it, camera left, and at the bottom right is so bright there, it kind of, you kind of guard your eyes there. I would tone down the brightness of the car and of the gravel a little bit, and that would really help the image, I think, a little bit to make it a little stronger. But the subject, the way it's set up there and constructed like that, well done to the maker on that. And especially not trying to get, and I really want you to applaud you on that train in the background there. Having that movement really adds to the story of what's going on here. So well done, great timing. Timing is everything in a photograph, which is really important. A Royal typewriter. Boy, does that bring back memories before the computer. I know when I was young, when I had to write my papers in college and so forth, it was the old Royal typewriters. So now I don't like the maker of this photo because he's telling, or she's telling me I'm vintage. No, I'm kidding on that. But it is a great vintage subject indeed, because it takes me back. And that's what you want. And I'm looking across here at all of you. I don't see anybody here 18 and under, so I'm talking to the right crowd here. That most of us can identify with this image and go, yeah, I see a couple of shaking heads there. Yeah, you remember this. This brings you in to the image, which is well done by the maker of this image. They chose a subject that we all can identify with. And that's important when you're taking photos and your subject theme is antiquity like that. You don't want to go too far back or else we'll lose people, but we can all resonate with this and go, yeah, that's a great image. I remember the Royal typewriter. I remember changing those black ribbons and getting my hand all dirty and everything. And you can see, notice at the top of the camera, at the top of the image there, I don't know if this is intentional or not, but that ribbon is askew. You see how it's all mangled up and everything? It's as if I had done that, because I've done that many times. Trying to change the ribbon, it gets twisted and turned and out of place. So again, I don't know if that's intentional, but it adds to the story. Let me break off for just a second and tell you what you're always looking for in an image is storytelling. Does the image tell a story? This tells a story. This is a well-used typewriter that's probably been discarded. It's had better days. It's been through a lot, and you can see all that had happened with it. It's all in that image right there. So that's wonderful, and I applaud the maker on that. So it's a great subject, and it gives the things that are of interest there. Some things that you might want to consider in what we can do, what you're always looking to make it better. It looks like there's a little white vignetting going on around it. Again, either a strong vignette in this case or no vignette. I think that no vignette would really make it work a little better than that. And I'm not too sure, and I don't have an answer for you on this, but I'm struggling a little bit with the angle of the subject here. It's a little askew there. It's kind of shooting at a corner there. And I would explore different angles. You don't want a dead shot straight on. So I applaud you, the maker, if the maker is here this evening. You shot at an angle and you cropped in a little. You got the right idea going. You wanted it. Everybody knows what the subject is, and that's important. But what angle would really capture it really in a more sensational manner? And I'm not sure I have an answer, but you might want to explore a little bit with the angle on that. Cropping in maybe a little closer, maybe a little to the camera right would be something different, but it's a great subject. And I like the exposure on it, by the way. It's very nicely done. So thank you on that. Okay.
You give them an award.
Okay. Do you want me to just name your third, second, and first?
Yeah, give me one at a time, then I'll call the,
Okay.
Good.
Okay, my third place is the typewriter.
title of that is Clickety Clack, and that's Sandy Auburn, third place.
There's Sam here. What?
Sandy.
Okay, way to go, Sandy. All right, second place is the wheel on the camera left there.
So,
Yes, bandsaw. I knew that. Wait. Good eye, Sandy. Good eye. And first place, I would have to give to the pink Cadillac. Wonderful, wonderful. This, again, on all four of them, are great odds. They're thinking, you're just not going up and snap it, but there's some thought that's been made into each of these. So thank you for that.
and by the way, we also give HMs, it's up to you how many you give.
Okay. Let me give it to an honorable mention there, please.
Okay, so that is vintage car, Leonda Hernandez HM.
Oh, there you go. Thank you. Just keep in mind about the tone of the car there, okay? But that's,
Didn't have any control of that. I was using expired film.
okay.
I'm actually quite surprised it ended up as in exposure as it was.
Well, you're off to a great start, but again, good eye and how you put those two together like that. Very well done. Thank you.
Okay, the next group is Master One, there's 15.
Okay.
And I'll give a quick run through.
So.
Wow. Oh, this is tough. Somebody else want to do this, please? This is tough.
The first image.
Okay, these are and I mean that in a good way. These are great images. I really like this. Okay, you got the waterworks right here. This was a fun way to, again, you get your vintage here. What I like about this image here is what if it was me photographing this, and I need to tell you this, when I take a photo of something or see a photo, I think, oh, this is what I would do. And then I see it done a different way than the way I would do it. I like that because in my brain, they're thinking outside the box. I am always in the box. And I give you one word for that. It's called boring. Okay? I can be a very boring photographer. So when I see somebody thinking outside of my box, it may not be out of your box, but out of my box, I love that. And this is thinking outside of my box because I would have focused on that spigot there with the nozzle and the word waterworks, whatever it is. I would have honed in on there and that would have been my image. But what I like about this image is look at that plate behind it, that covering behind it, that how it is just deteriorated and rough. I mean, that makes it look old. And I love that. I think that is excellent that they captured that. They got the water dripping down, not only coming out of the spigot, because that's what I would have had, but it's leaking from at the bottom and off to the side, which shows you this fits that category so well. So again, a lot went into this by the maker in my book, because it wasn't just going up and taking a snapshot. Snapshot is just click and that's it. But some real thought went into this, I think, and I applaud the maker on this. So I really enjoyed that. So thank you to the maker for this image here. And then you're always looking at what can we do? What can we do to help this along? One of the things, and you will always see this, is where does your eye go to? And bright spots always attract your eye, and you try to tone down the bright spots. And if you look at the camera right corner up there, you see that little stone up there. That's the brightest part of this whole image here, is that stone in the upper right corner there. I don't need to say which one, because your eye goes right to it. You know exactly what I'm talking about. tone that down just a little bit, make the tonality of that blending more in with the rest of the rocks. And that will help accentuate the image in the center so much more there. And that's what we want there. So just do that. And you know what? A little something you might want to do is, in this case, a little darkening vignette around it, just a slight vignetting around the side, the corners of it. And that will hone your attention more into that spigot and line that goes right through there. I don't know what you call that whole waterworks pipeline there. That with a slight vignetting centers your eye right in there. Just a suggestion. It's not a showstopper, but something to think about. Well, you know, it's a twofold thing that jumps out at this. First of all, a unique angle of this cabin, the cabin here, which is wonderful. But something that I really appreciated as well is the sky. Look at that sky. That's a beautiful sky. Look at the leading lines of this image. You see off camera right in the corner camera right, you see that bed, the bed, floor bed, it leads you into the cabin itself. See the door open, it leads you inside to the cabin inside itself. You see the sky, you see those cloud lines, look at the line, everything points to the inside of the cab there. That is brilliant. That is wonderful. I hope if the maker's here, the maker's going, that. Sometimes it's by accident, you don't even know it. You just know it looks good, but you don't know why. This is why it's so good. You've got all those. Can I stand up for a second? Okay, sorry, zoom land just for a second. I won't go on the stage, but it's just so important. I need to accentuate. You've got the line going here. You've got the line going here. You've got the clouds going there. Everything is going to right here. This is your subject, and it's brilliantly done. I just love this. I love that it's also done in the black and white tone like this. It just adds to the antiquity of it. So again, well thought out by the maker. And it's also done in almost a square. If you notice the way it's all cropped, it's like almost a square. It says, look at what we've got here, and it brings everything into image. So what can you do to improve it? Just one small little thing. And this is just me. It's a matter of taste. Just one little thing. I was talking about cropping attention. I would have come down just a little to get the rest of the door at the bottom left corner there. I want to get that whole, it's just dangling, oh, hi, Mom. It's just dangling just enough that it makes you go, oh, I want to see that a little bit more. So for the maker, just come down if you can. Come down. I'll tell you one thing you can't do, and this is not cheating. To the maker, if this is as far as your image goes down, if you know how to use Photoshop, they have a thing called generative fill. You can go into generative fill and come down maybe about an inch and just plug in generative fill and see what happens. It is amazing what Photoshop can do. It's a type of AI, but it's in a lot of competitions like PPA and so forth, it is allowed, because what generative fill does, it takes the pixels that are in your image and rearranges them, which is okay to do. What you cannot do in AI. So if you go in and type something in, change this, that's not allowed. But if you ask it to take the pixels and just change it around a little, that's acceptable in a lot of not all, but check the rules. That's one thing to do. But just keep in mind for the future, if you just look at it, so come down just a little, catch that edge there, and it's there. You were so close. This is excellent. This is why this is the master's category. So I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it's totally.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
I went over 2 minutes on that one. I'm sorry. You may not notice it, but I get excited sometimes. I'll try to contain that.
Not a problem.
Next. All right. We got a theme going on here. I like it. I love this. Look at this. And again, humor is always great in a photo. You see that stuff? Do not climb on. I wish it said do not climb on me. That would have been more fun. But that's great seeing that look on the grill right there. This is an old image. You talk about antiquity. The maker of this image has caught the rust. They've caught the colors. You know, the last one. Oh, that's something else as a judge. Never compare one image to another. You take each image by itself. And that's what I am doing here. So I want to point that out. Although I talked about the other one being a sepia tone and really working, this is color and it works just as good. This is wonderful. See the different tones and you got on the roof, on the hood, on the grill and everything, on the fenders and on the doorway, all different colors. That's beautiful. I don't want you to make this into a black and white or a sepia. You want that tonality here. It works beautifully. And being able to capture that, and it's personal taste. I just love that sign up in the front there. It just adds so much to it. And notice the tension I was talking about. Camera right at the very end. See, you got a little space there. They didn't cut it. That's beautiful. You got the whole image in here, which is lovely. Notice what they did not do. You see that pole going up? You're going, gee, where's it going? Shouldn't it be up higher? Well, maybe it could be. You're going, where's that pole going to? Sometimes you don't need to know. Because if the maker had taken that image and gone up higher instead of cropping it where it is, you would have what we call a lot of dead space up there going up above the image up there, camera top up there. This is cropped beautifully. It's very tight. It's very tight, but it works. A lot of times in images, they're cropped too closely and you can't breathe. You want to have the image breathe, but it works nicely here. It really works very nicely on this one. So my hats off to that. The only thing I would suggest on this one is if you look at camera right there, that tire in the back there, it looks like a brand new tire. You see that yellow that on the rim there, and it just keeps going there. It just keeps going. I would just darken that yellow and maybe even change the color so my eye wouldn't go there. Okay, it just, you want the whole image to speak for itself. And that yellow, you just, once it's that old adage, once you see it, you can't unsee it. So once you see that yellow, you can't help but see that yellow. Get rid of that yellow and I think you're there. Okay. You don't care. Okay, I did. Okay. Okay. I'm partial to an image like this because I photograph these all the time when I'm not overseas. This is a reenact. I probably have photographed this guy. In fact, he likes it, but that doesn't cloud my judgment on this whatsoever. You just need to look at the image as itself and like that. You're talking about something of a bygone time. Look at that outfit there. It's just wonderful. And those glasses and the background. Again, you don't want to guess, but my inclination is that this is a backdrop that has been put in there. It's like a sky replacement. They put a different background on there, which is fine, and it's good. There's a lot of work that is done on photos, and that's what's been done on this one here. It looks like you've got a different background. It complements it nicely, and the image is very nice. And I love the figure. I'll sit down for a minute. Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay. But I'm going to get up again. I know in a few minutes. I'm sorry. I get excited. On this one though. Anyway, so I like this. It's a lot of fun. It's something I would have photographed. But I look at it and I go, what can we do to make it a little better? And a couple of things that I would suggest. I won't get up because Kathy just stood up, so I'm not going to have her come sit down again. My time is, I'll be quick, I'm sorry. Notice the cane, how it comes down, and you get that sleeve in the bottom, at the bottom of the cane there. That little white there is a distraction. It just kind of goes there, and they're going, what is that? It is that. You can just clone over that little white there or bring up the image just a tad keep that cut out there a little bit. I know what you're trying to lead into, showing that arm is kind of holding on to the cane, but you can do that by just cutting up just a tad so that you don't have that, it's a distraction there. Your eye goes there. And speaking of the white, if you look at his collar, the collar is too white. Again, you tone down the whites on the collar and that would help the image there, I think, a little bit there. If this is in the master category, something to also consider is you've got the individual with backdrop back there, but how close is he to the backdrop? How close? It looks rather flat. I would put a little shading in the background so that it looks like he has some dimension to make it more three-dimensional. Something to consider on this. But those are just some suggestions on what can be done to elevate the image. But it's a lovely image, a great subject there. And again, this is, I'm getting back up, sorry. This is something John Powers, this is, each judge is a little different. When I take an image like this, by the way, sum up, this is what I'm talking about. Just cut it, bring up a little bit there. You get the same story, you get the same message. The pain is there, it's being held, but you're not distracted by that white. And it's this white up in here that should be brought down a little. And I'm talking about bringing some shadowing along on the outside here so you get a three-dimensional feel to it. But what John Powers does when he does this, and then this just me, when I have such dark glasses of that, you can see the photographer back in here and you go, well, what else is in there? You don't want to be looking at what's inside of an image. So what I do is I just take the black that is there and I extend it to the entire image, the entire rim, all the way with glass and make it all black. And maybe put a little shine in one area or the other, but get rid of that reflection so the people aren't distracted and looking like, is that the picture in there? Or what? You want them to see the whole image. You don't want them playing around in what's inside there. So that's just me.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. All right. Is this old or is this old? I like this. What I love about this image is the angle. The average person, a snapshot would be camera right, standing over here and shooting into the face of the building straight on. That's a John Powers shot. That's why it's called boring. This is not boring. Look at the angle. The great thing about this is it shows not only the deterioration of the building, but what's inside the building now. You see the trees, I think these are popular trees, poplar. Anyway, growing outside of them, that's beautiful. It's wonderful. You're so close to the top, either come down and cut it here or just up a little and get the whole thing in there. That's one thing I would say.
It is in there.
Oh, it is? Oh, yeah. Thank you. Okay, you can't see it in here, but it has the space at the top. There is a little space. Much better. Thank you. That's wonderful. Thank you for pointing that out. That'll help me very much. Love this image. Love this image. So that's good. Again, little things. You don't want distractions. This doesn't work against it, but taking out a little thing there or two, that might help a little. But this is great. I like this whole image. The whole angle on this thing works so nice. Well done. Okay, it's fine. All right. I like this. Great thing about this kind of image here, it's telling a story. It's not just there's the guy. He's doing something. He's got this bowl here. I don't know if this is something to eat or if there's a pestle here that he's making something and he's describing it with his hands, talking to somebody off camera left here. I don't know, but I don't need to know. It's a great story. This is a person that's in action. This is something that works to this person's advantage very nicely. I like that it's done in black and white as well, which is very nice. But again, I'm sounding like a broken record, and I apologize. Oh, I have some one person wall. Boy, he's dissatisfied. Probably go to the bathroom. I broken record, and I apologize, but it's important. is you want to get away from blowouts. You can tone these down. Look at the sky corner left up here. You can tone that down. The color, tone it down just a little bit there. And that would really help. A little vignetting around it, a dark vignetting around the corners would help bring in on the subject as well. But it's nicely cropped. You notice the feather going up to the top. It's well balanced, well done with a good eye. And it tells a story. He's in the middle of talking about something. He's a storyteller himself, and the image is telling the story of the storyteller. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. All right. I think I photographed this guy as well. This looks like this was taken in Cambodia. I don't know. I love it. And again, talk about a story. I like this. One thing that I really like about this is you have this monk here. And if you notice, he's not just standing there. He is walking up the steps here. You can see his, on the camera right, his foot coming up to the other. There's action going on here. There's movement going on here. And that's great. That's part of the story. It's a profile image. And you've got the structure that he's walking into. Notice he's walking into the structure here, going into camera left. It's telling that he's moving, that he's going in, where he's going into. Very nicely done. This is a well-timed image with a great subject. I love photographing. When I'm in Cambodia and Thailand, I am always photographing the monks. And my camera, just personal, so you know, not that you need to know, but my camera has its own personality. And two things it will automatically gravitate to is one is monks and the other is parasols. If I see a lady carrying a parasol or an umbrella, or I see a string of the camera just automatically goes on its own, takes those photos. I can't help it, I'm sorry. So I would have taken this photo too. It's just my camera would. It's all in the camera, it does that. So I'm joking, but I do. I love photography. Anyway, so you've got the monk there walking into this, which is wonderful. Something to consider on this. And I don't know. Let me take a look quick on the screen here, just for a second. I want to see this. Okay, it is different here. You see, here the image is sharper. I'm looking up here, and this looks all very soft. And that I was going, gee, that needs some work there. It's sharp over here, but camera left in that main beam, it's very soft. But when I'm looking here on the screen, it's sharp, it's tacked, it's all done very nicely here. So I'm going to be judging it off the screen, if you don't mind, instead of what's up on here. With that in mind, I like this a lot. Little darkening, maybe down here on the base, and on this doorway here, it's a little bright. Just bring down the tones a little, and you're there. Wonderful. Okay. This popped up when we were looking at it, and I went, wow, this is lovely, lovely. You've got, this is well caught here. I mean, if you're looking for a subject that shows something old and dilapidated, other than me, look at that. That is old and dilapidated. That fits the theme very nicely. I like the way it is based here. It's very well placed. I love right. You can see these trees, the branches of these trees on camera right and camera left. Beautiful up there. Those are wonderful. You got the tree trunks on camera left going up. This adds to the image overall so nicely. So nicely. Well thought. Two suggestions. Number one, and I'm not pixel peeping, but your eye goes there. Once you see it, you go, what's this little white thing here? Just get rid of that, okay? Just get rid of it. You can, that's so easy, that little white thing there. Make this image pop. You might want to just make the tones a little more darker. Because it's cool. The lighting is all the way across about the same. You see how you got the blacks here and so forth. You want to make those darker to make them richer. This image will, if you will just bring out the tonality a little more, and have it just, it will just pop. But you're in the right area, doing the right thing, so it's off to you, wonderful. Again, humor, Chinese bathtub, back scrub, 5 cents, full scrub, 10 cents. Man, those were the days. Now you gotta pay a quarter. Try it for size. That is fun. I mean, that's, again, images should tell a story. This tells a beautiful story here. This is wonderful. I love the story that this is telling here. It's so well done. It's a great image on stuff. You've got the lid off here to the camera, right? You don't need the whole image in there. It's cropped nicely there. You get the idea of what should be in there. Something to just consider, and just a little bit, is that wood on them is so bright that you can bring down the tones of that red just a little bit, because the whole story is this pop here. But these are rich colors on the door, which is beautiful, but a little too vibrant. Bring the tone down just a little, and that would bring the focus right here on the tub in a way that would make it pop even more. Maybe a little bit netting, but not necessary. Great story, great story. Here's a building on a building on a building. Where do you guys find these places? I love it. This is wonderful. Somebody, this is an old building, and somebody said, you know what, we need more room, so they put another building on top of it. You can see where the old one had the lines for where it was, and then they put another structure on there. That's absolutely wild. I love that. And I'm looking at, this is a fun image here, and I like it. But what can make it pop? What can make it more of a story? And I think if you tried making this into a black and white, that would bring the age out even more. Just something to think about. And to clean it up just a little, you can take out those wires, camera left and camera right. Those aren't needed in this image here. A little work on the left and the right there. Just make that building stand by itself. The background with the field in the background is nice, gives it a nice foundation. Notice they didn't drop it at the building. You have a little of the foreground there, and that's important. It gives it a nice foundation that the building is built on. You need that. That works really nice. Experiment a little. Try black and white, or maybe even a sepia, but at least black and white, and bring out some rich tones there. Take out the wires. And boy, what a story this tells. What a story. Great picture. Great idea. All right, here we go. Obviously, this is at some fort from the past. What I like about this is, again, the story this tells. Notice that this is not photographed dead on, right? Standing in front of it right here and photographing right into the cannon and its holder itself. It is off to an angle here, so you have the whole fortress part right here, which is needed to tell the whole story here. It's cropped very nicely. You see the roundabout, how it can be moved. You see the pivots on the bottom here, where it can be moved from angle to angle, which is wonderful. Just consider. And I like the tone on this, by the way. It doesn't have to be black and white. It doesn't have to be sepia. This is an off gray, and it works nicely. That's so white. And you need to just bring that down a little, please. Because your eye just goes there. And you want to get the cannon, you want to get the whole thing, but your eye keeps going there. And that is the center area, but it's too bright. Just you don't want to blow out your colors. Or you don't want to blow out your whites. You need to bring them down. It's the only thing I would suggest on this. Yeah. I loved when this popped up. I went, wow. I loved how you have, and again, I photograph flowers a lot when I'm not, it's always important, as a photographer, you should be out photographing all the time. I can't always be in Asia, and I can't always go to a Renaissance fair or something like that. But I can go out and do some other photographs, and I take a lot of flower photos, for instance, when I'm not. And I'll post those, and people will ask me, oh, what kind of flower is that? And I tell them what it is. It's a pretty flower. I don't know if it's a bougainvillea or I could know if it's a rose. You look it up, posting it there. They think, people think if you post on social media, they think if you post flowers or plants, that you're an expert and you know what it is. Photographer, I'm a botanist, okay? I photograph things because they're pretty or nice or unique. And that's why I don't know what these are, but they're pretty and they're nice and they work.
And you said their name,
And I said their name?
bougainvillea.
They are
It is a bougainvillea.
bougainvillea, I guess. All right, there you go. Somebody beat one I know. Okay, they're bougainvillea. It's, it's not, as a photographer, it's not important. What's important is what does it tell you? I love the way it cascades over that vehicle. You've got the old versus the new. You've got growth and beauty and alive. And then you've got old and dead and ancient. You've got such a great contrast going here. It's wonderful. And then it's balanced out on camera left with all this darkness here. It's a nice overall image. Well thought through. What a great story this tells. It's not just a truck, and it's not just bougainvillea, but it's a story of old versus new and how one overwhelms the other and tells a beautiful image here. Now, I don't know if that was what the maker was thinking. If you're in the room here, you're going, yeah, that's it. That's what I was thinking. Sure, yeah. No, it doesn't matter, but it tells a great story. Love it. Oh, the windshield. That overwhelms the whole image. This is the story. This is the story. That's part of it, but your eye goes there. You want your eye to go here. So tone this down to make it all part of that story. All right, Athens. And there, love it. This is fun. You know, when I see this image, the first thing that went through my mind, where are all the people? I've been here. There's always a ton of tourists here. There's no tourists here. It's just the structure. And I like that. It's something different. You don't see this kind of image every day. One thing that would help to have, sometimes you don't want people in the images at all possible. And this is not a ding against the individual who took the photo, but sometimes keep in mind to have a person in the photo. Why would you want to have a person in the photo?
Scale.
What was that?
Okay.
Scale. Exactly. Perspective. How large are these? Are these human sized? Are they 20 feet tall? Are they 5 feet tall? You need perspective sometimes. So something to keep in mind. It's not a thing against this. This is what I love about this, and you can't see it as well here as you can, and I'm looking at the screen right now. The beauty of this image, which I really wish you could see on the screen, is this is a bolt of light coming down right onto the subject. And there's a fancy name for these. It begins with a P, paraffins or paratites or something like that. Anyway, it comes down and you have this beautiful light stream here, and you've got a darkness here and up here. It really, as a matter of luck, or if it was put in there, I'm not sure, but it works really, really nice like that. It's a beautiful image in and of itself. And by the way, you don't really need people. I'm not going to ding it because there's no people in there, but just something for you to. Part of what I'm doing up here, whether you like it or not, or know it or not, is I'm trying to help you to be a better photographer, okay? So just keep these things in mind. That's why we do this. What can I do to be a better? Keep scale, or what I call perspective, in mind when you're taking photos. Always keep that in mind. I took a picture once in Japan of a line of trees going down and talk about leaving. It was beautiful. I loved it. And I was about to take the photo and this lady walked into it and sat down right in the middle of the trees right there off to the side where only her feet were sticking out and her head. And I'm going to stand here until she moves. And she never moved. And I said, oh, I'll just take a picture and I'll leave. I got home and I pulled it up and I looked at it and I went, I love this. Perspective, angle, it all works. And this was about 20 years ago. It taught me, get perspective in there, keep it in there. It works, it works, it works. Oh, be quiet. This is beautiful. Oh, no, go back one step, Bruce, I'm sorry. And I hope later you can see this on the monitor, what we've got here on the screen, because it really, really works much better than what's on the screen here. I'm glad that we have a monitor up here because that makes a little bit difference here. You're just looking at a projection. That's the image right there. Beautiful light coming across. Okay, sorry, I went over 2 minutes on one. All right. This is a unique one here. This came up, and the first thing you're going is, whoa. You know, what you got too much going on here, a lot of what's going on here. And then I said to myself, you know what? If you were at dinner with us this evening, I talked about this very subject that I'm about to share with you. One of the things you look for in an image is what you call center of interest. Where does your eye go? Where exactly is it that I should be focused at? Where is the design? Where is it going? What is it about? I looked at this and I go, this is the exception, the rule. Sometimes this isn't the center of interest, but this is the center of interest. You've got lines going everywhere. It's like a Jackson Pollock painting. Dots, lines going everywhere. This is an image where you have to take a look at it as a whole, not just which fight them on. This fight's in focus here, but that one's in. Now, look at that entire image as a whole. That is the center. This is a classic example where the entire image is the center of interest. It's a unique way of doing it, and it's fun. Tone down just a little here. And you know, me, if I wanted to do this, I'm guessing, you know, this was maybe f2.8, f4, or whatever. I would have shot this at f16. I want to get as much in focus as possible here. When you're going to do something that's going to be collective, you want to be able to see all of it in a scene like this as in focus as possible. So something with a lower f-stop, like a 16, would really help this image. But it's a great idea. Sorry, great idea. It's going well. Great thinking. Okay.
Ignore me.
No, I just want to make sure I'm doing okay. Oh, look at this luggage. I love this. This is, you know, this was done with this has got a strong depth of field to it. What a story this tells. This is travel going on here. And what really throws it off in a fun way is you got all this luggage and you got this bucket here to camera left. What's that bucket doing there? I don't know. It's to the story in a fun way. It works nicely. So this is a great image. Notice that it is muted colors here. It's not black and white. It's not sepia. It's not color, but it's been muted. That in itself shows a little antiquity in another way, in a special way. Creative in the thinking. I like that. Some people say there's not enough space on camera right or camera left. You can't breathe. You want to go. You don't need it. It tells a story just like it is. I like it like this. This is very creative in its thinking, muted in its color, and again, well thought through, a wonderful, and I'll show you to the degree that it's fun and old. I don't know if you pick up on it when you're looking at it, but always look at that image carefully. One of the things you might have missed, which shows its antiquity, is look up here. You can see this firewood. See that? Old. I'm sure the maker did that on purpose. All right, next one.
Okay, that was it.
All right, I'm gonna sit down.
There's
Sorry, I get carried away. Now I have to check 10 of them, right? I gotta pick first, second, third, and honor. Yeah, can you keep it like that for just a second, please?
You want to do, but no?
No, I remember them all well enough. It's just putting them in the right order. Okay, I got 1, 2. These are such work, wonderful work. Okay. I want to do honorable mention as well. All right, okay. I'm ready for 1, 2, 3.
Okay,
Third place, the luggage. Good.
two down, we're right third.
All right, Susan, wonderful. I was right about everything, right? You caught that dust, that web and all of that, right? There you go. Excellent, excellent. Okay, second place for me is the cabin, second one on the top there, the black and white. Yes, right there, that cabin right there.
Oh, the car?
That is second place.
This one here?
Yep.
That one's all. Second place.
All right. Well, okay. All right, and first, although you can see it a little better up there, is the Athens one at the bottom there. Yeah, right there. That's first place.
Okay,
Who is it? All right, Susan. All right, way to go. Look, you can see it better here than what it was. See that bold light that comes across there? That really speaks to it nicely. Yeah, well, that's really well. I'm happy with it. So a couple of honorable mentions. Is that?
I'm gonna put this over here because they can't hear him.
Oh, sure. Okay, first, I've got about 3, 4. Is that okay? I don't know if there's okay.
there's no limit.
The third image on the top, right there, honorable
This one
mention.
here. And that one is Bodie Patina Fred Loudon HM.
Okay. All right. Then 2 over oh no, the fifth one in on the top, fifth one on the top. There you go, right there.
And that one is a little breezy Thomas Van Lagenhoven HM.
Okay. And then the Cambodia one there, which is a lot stronger on screen than what you saw there.
That is called Monk and Runes Thomas Van Lagenhoven HM.
All of them have their strong points, all of them have their strong points, but I wanted to, those are exceptional. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Great.
Okay, moving on.
Yep.
And then the next is Master 2.
I'm gonna just come back over here.
And if there's 15 in the category, I'll do a
I
quick
don't mind at all.
run through.
Are you serious? These are good, my goodness.
You do the first one?
All right. All right, this is gonna be, I'm sorry, this is gonna be tough, because I'm going, yeah. Each one that comes up, yeah, yeah. All right, look at this here. This is totally not my style. I look at this image and there is no way I would photograph this with the glossiness and the blurring going on and all of that. See how that's blurred? Some people will get up again, I'm sorry. Some people will say, oh, look at this. I mean, it's got specular highlights here that are fine, but look at it's all blown out there and this is just horrible. Look at all that. I think it's beautiful. This is art here. This really works nicely. This is out of character. This is where you've gone and you've done some stuff with, I didn't even know what did with it here. I don't know if there's a filter that you used or dodging, burning going on, but I like this. It's creative, it's different, and it draws your attention. And the other thing that I love about this is the angle on this. This is up front in your face. This is the grill with the two headlights. It's almost like its own person. You have the one eye, the second eye. Look at this. Here's the mouth here, big smile here. Here's the nose. I mean, it's got its own humanistic feature to it. It's like this is a face staring at you. And I'm sure the maker did that on purpose because you look at that and you go, yeah, it's humanoid there. That's very creative. I like this. Very different. Again, there is no way in the world I would take a photo like this. And that's why I like it. It's thinking outside the box in a very creative way. Okay. Here we go, like this. What's fun about this, I love Nakima. You got this individual here, she's playing her heart out, but don't forget, she takes tips, which is important. I think this is well done. Normally in a black and white, be careful that it's not too flat with the lighting and everything. And again, this is an image that looks like it's been put with a different background there, like a sky replacement, and it works nicely. You look for the details. You can see that it's been cleaned very nice throughout. This has been well done. And hair is so difficult at times, and it's really nice. It captures the motion here very nicely. I like the black and white on it. It has a slight vignetting going on here, which is very good. And I like the white border around it with the very light stroke line going there. It accentuates the image very nicely here. And I think this is a moment well captured, well thought through, a lot of good thought on it. It's well done to the maker. All right, John Deere. Here we go. Again, you're looking at old, you're looking at antiquity. This tractor has seen better days, and it has been here for a long time. And I like how they caught it with the foliage here just growing out over it. You can see where it's just coming up over the caboose, the engine here. It's been well, and I like the way it's cropped. Great clouds up there, which is good. And you got that really nice, just a little bright up in here, and a little bright over here. And again, you might want to bring a little more tonality to it to bring out those rich colors. Anytime you have these dark colors all in here, you want to bring out that tonality, make it really rich, but not too dark, not too black where it just overwhelms. Just pop it just a little more. Very nicely done. This popped up, I'm going, what is this? I've never seen a vehicle like this. Obviously, antiquity. I like the way that it's like a profile shot here on bricks like this. Great storytelling. Not only is this vehicle old, but the ram-packled shack in the ransacked shack, whatever you want to call it, in the background. It's just old upon old, and even the tree is old. You can just see how everything is just old in this image, which is just wonderful. It's just a bit muted. I would pop the colors, I would saturate this a little bit more to make the colors pop a little bit more. And maybe the maker has already done this. To me, it screams black and white. I want to see this in black and white. That's just partial on my part. But maybe the maker has done that and said, you know what? I don't want it in black and white. I want this rustic color to pop like that. And then you make it a sepia to what you could do, just something to consider, is you can capture the body and keep it like it is, invert it, and then try the background in black and white or a sepia and see how that works. But you can play that background it's broad, it's old there, what you want, but it's kind of broad. You might want to work with the color on that and see what it would look like in black and white without touching the body of the vehicle, because the vehicle itself is a story and it's perfect the way it is. Old gnarly tree. Love this. It's almost, I'm not saying it is, but it's almost like an infrared. and which really pops in a nice way. It's really nice. It's a little heavy vignetting around the top like that. I think the natural light that was up there, that in the background sky, would be good by itself. I think it's a little heavy around there. I would probably take that out, and I would just bring down that specular highlight right in here. Bring that down just a little bit. But great subject. What a beautiful subject this is. Well captured. It's not straight on. It's from below, shooting up. You get, it brings out the majesty, the majesticness, is that a word, of the image. It makes it stand strong and tall. Great angle, great angle. All right, St. Peter's Square, or should I say cubicle, because it's not quite the square. It's a segment of St. Peter's Cathedral here. It's the, what you've got as part of it. You have the dome, St. Peter's Dome back here, designed by Michelangelo, constructed after his death. But anyway, getting into things you don't really interested in. But anyway, but this is one of the wings of St. Peter's here. Very interesting subject of focusing. It's very unconventional. Normally you have people standing in the piazza in the front of it, and you get both wings with the dome in the background. The maker of this said, I'm tired. Everyone's seen that shot. Let me show you something different. Different is good. It's very nice here. This works very nice. Something very done creatively like this. Great sky in the background there like that. You got a lot going on this image here. What I would probably suggest is just popping the dome just a little. It's a little dark and on there. Just pop it just a little bit. Because you've got all of this here begging for its attention as well here. But a nice study in part of it here. So really, really nice, very creative. This popped up and I'm going, oh yeah, this is an old Western, talk about antique. These are reenactors, obviously. Here, this is fun. I love it. Usually, you know, they're pretty static, just sitting there, but there's a lot of story here, a lot going on here. I like how he's not looking at the camera, but he's holding a whiskey bottle or something there, and he's the sheriff, by the way, drinking. That shows you what's going on back there, which is fun. However, to the maker, and now I'm going to get really picky on here, and I apologize. When I'm photographing these kind of things, I go up to them and they have no qualms when I ask them this. I say to them, hey, you guys are 1880, 1870. Why are you wearing these glasses? So this is Ray-Ban glasses. I always say to them, I don't say, why are you wearing? I just say, hey, can you take your glasses off? And they have no qualms taking the glasses off. Just something to keep in mind when you're taking a photo like this. These may be old specs of the time, so I don't question that, but these are Ray-Bans and these look like a type of Ray-Ban as well. And I'm not quite sure here. So just a small technicality there. Again, clean up over here on the window here, a little bright there, but this is a great story here. Just wonderful. You got the guy in the center looking dead at you. Everybody else kind of doing their own thing. You don't want everybody sitting there and posing. Boring, boring. You want motion, you want action, you want a story. You got that going. This is a great image. Okay. All right. I think this is a fire hose, fire engine hose. Don't say it because I don't know. But it's old and I like it. Maybe from a museum because it's inside a building like this. And that's fine. It captures the subject really nice. It's a little bright here. I'm going to look at the screen here to make sure. Yeah, it's a little, notice there's a light sepia almost like on here. But then it gets, see how bright it is over here? You want consistency across. And you can do that. See how it's sepia, sepia, sepia white. You want to smooth that out there. You can put a light, you can do a Command J object copy, and then just put some on there and then bring down the tonality, the opacity, excuse me, to blend in. You can do that very easily. and it stands looking really nice, very nice, but kind of work on that. Okay. This is fun. Look at this. Again. The subject is you've got these 4 cars in the front, but they go, oh no, there's so much more behind me, and you can see it all there. This is wonderful. This again is one in which there is no center of where you have center of interest. This is one where the whole image works in and of itself. Me, I would have cropped it right about here and gone across there because the story is vehicles, but this adds to the story. The maker did a wise job to keep that in. It shows that it's inside a structure, not just what you can tell by the beams, but it tells where the beams are going, and it fills up the entire subject in itself up there as an environment. It adds to the environment of this image here. So it works really nice, really nice. So this is great. I like this image, and I don't know, but I presume that the subject, the person who put this together might have grappled with this. They made this intentional. Is if you notice camera right, it's cut off at the beam over here, but it's not cut off at the beam over here. They extended it to get this other car in there. And so they had to add this. Something you might want to consider is to have cropped it at this beam line as you did that one. And the reason I bring that up is for this reason. One of the rules that you look for when you're photographing subjects, when you have multiple subjects, what tends to work best is odd numbers. You're photographing people. If you have 2, if you can have 3, 3 works better than 5 and 7 and so on. If you have 2, 4, it sounds like, anyway, you have the 3 images here. These 3 work together well. This 4th one kind of is out of balance. If you put your hand up and kind of look at it and kind of cover this area here, you might get a whole different story than what you have here, because it kind of lops over here a little bit. Creativity, wonderful here. This is beautiful. They, instead of just focusing here, they got all of this in here, which tells a magnificent story. Well done. Back to a Western scene here. What I enjoy about this image here, first thing, you go, well, wait a minute, this guy's face is behind us, you can't see him, that's not working, that's not right. It doesn't matter in this story. What matters is what's he doing? He's got his gun up here like this. Is he about to threaten someone here? Because this guy's about to partake, he's got his gun up also, a little awkward, but maybe getting it ready for something. Something's not going on right. He's got his hand on his gun, and he's getting ready to get his hand on his gun. And what balances this is something that throws the balance off, but works. Notice the guy up here, anchoring the right corner. Beautifully. You don't just have 5 of them or 6 of them in here. You got a guy up here that throws the thing out of balance, but in a nice way. It's an off-kilter shot in a very nice way. Great storytelling going on here. This was well done. I really enjoyed this. You might just bring the tone down. Old church. This is a classic shot here. I like this. You have this old church. You got some graffiti going on here, unfortunately. That's just part of the story. And you have the old trees here, probably taken during the winter here. It's just an old church here, very lovely. It's rather bright. I bring the tone down just a little, please. But it tells a nice story. It's well focused. Notice it's off camera right just a little bit, and that works nice there. I'm going to look at here. This works so. It's a gray here. Let me take it back. I said to tone it down. It is toned down on here. This is sharp and it's rich. And this works so nice. This is you see the difference there, Kathy, what I'm talking about? It's this beautiful here. So much different than what you're seeing. I apologize to you. You're not getting a fair view on this image here, but it's a richer color. The grays are sharp. There's a sharp tonality in this image. This one really works very nice. If you want to be a purist, and this doesn't affect it at all, but if you want to be a purist, There's nothing wrong with going in and taking that graffiti out and taking this pole out, this light pole out. Nothing wrong at all, and that would just add to the antiquity in a very nice way. That's just a personal call on that, but just something to think about. If you're looking at antiquity and wanting to capture an old church without somebody looking at it and going, this is beautiful, but what's that on the door? Take it out, take the question out, just a thought. How many of us can relate to this? You look at this and does this bring back memories here? The old canisters that we had and so forth, the old light bulbs and so on. This is a good talk about nostalgia here. I personally never used the Plus X pan, but I used a lot of black and white and Kodachrome and all of that back in the day, if you will, and the canisters, of course. So this is a good nostalgic photo here. Something for the maker to consider is a lot of it looks like it's cut and paste here. It's just kind of jagged in here in a lot of places here. There's a little too crisp for this background here. You can do a little blending in there and some shadowing to bring that out, because you don't have any shadows going in anywhere per se. They're just kind of hanging there, and you want to bring this into the image here, into the background, and blend it a little more, but it's a little too sharp cut and paste in there. And you need to clean up these. I'm pixel peeping at this time, and I apologize for that, but it's a little strong here, and so you just need to consider that. But you want to bring in some shadows in here so that it looks like it's not on a foundation of some kind. But it's a great nostalgic image. It brings back memories for sure, most definitely. All right, you met my girlfriend here. This is a fun image. What I like about this image, besides her, okay, being objective here, what I like here is the balance here. You have her here, and then you have the umbrella. I told you earlier, my camera goes toward umbrellas and parasols. So I was automatically going, oh, look. I said, oh, look at the parasol. Oh, there's a girl in it too. But that's just how my camera works. But this is a well balanced here. You have the figure to the camera right. You notice with the leg extended there, it draws you out of the image camera right, which in itself might be distracting, but then it's counterbalanced with the umbrella or parasol over here on camera left. This is well done like this. I enjoy that. And I think this is a well choreographed image here. It's interesting the way the maker has gone with this, playing with this. You've got this black and white background, and yet she's in color, but not so blatantly in color. She's muted a little bit, I presume. It looks a little muted, and you want that so it's not too overwhelming. So it looks kind of nicely there. Unfortunately, this is shot in the middle of the day, and you see a lot of like harsh light coming on the arms, coming on across the chest area and the face and so forth. You don't see so much of it in the leg because of where the sun is hitting it. It's a strong light. It's a shame that the lighting couldn't have been a little different, but you work with what you've got, and that's what you've got there. You might want to just clean this up a little bit over here, take that out a little bit, or darken that, so that your face, your image is on the person and on that umbrella. Very, very creative. Love the composition on this pump. All right, look at this old Latin here. This is awesome. This is, talk about antiquity. I don't know where this is photographed, but I think ancient Rome comes to mind. The Satrium and so forth. This looks like almost Latin here. I love how it's old like this. This is the theme of the evening. The person was thinking, hey, this is an old shot here. Of course, we all know what it says. Doesn't matter what it says. It's old, it's antiquity, it's great. I like that. It's wonderful like that. I thought it was interesting the angle in which this is at. You don't see the entire message across. Maybe it goes right there and stops. You're not too sure because it's anchored very strongly right, and you've got a lot of space over here, which is kind of interesting. So I just was kind of wondering how it was planted like that structurally. It's different and I like it. I love the subject. And I think it's very unique. It's very interesting. I imagine, again, you can't always, you can only take a photo when you're there. This is why, and I'm gonna go off on a tangent for a second, for only 30 seconds. When I'm traveling in another country, well, and the first time I ever go, I like to go on a tour guide just to go know where it is. But after the first time, I always go on my own with a guide. I hire a guide, and it's just me and him or me and her, and it's just us. That way I can go where I want and I can go when I want. When you're on a tour, you're on the bus, oh, look at that site. As you pass by, there's not much you can do. Oh, we're only here for 5 minutes and it's bright and there's nothing you can do. But when you're on your own, you can come back. And if I was here, I would come back. And I would come back in the evening. Do you know why? Not just a soft light, but if you look carefully, there's like these are lights up here. And I could be wrong. I can imagine at night, this is lit up. Imagine how this would look dark, yet the wording has lights on it. I believe these are lights here. That would make sense what they are. This would be an outstanding image. If you can't be there at night, you can make your own night. You can darken this and you can go in here and put in here and you can lighten up this with a darker burning going on over there. And then you just experiment, just play around a little bit. What I'm trying to tell you to do is when you take a photo, just don't stay there, light with it. Create a story. There's more in an image than what just taking the photo. Okay, I'm getting off on tangent, so I apologize. But I'm just what it takes to make a great photo. And this is off to a good start. Okay, I'll be quiet. All right, look at this. This is screaming, take my picture, take my picture. Look at this rusticness, this old building. This is so well, look at this. You've got the old tree on there. You've got all of this in here. It's beautiful. I love it. I love it. It just screams beauty. Okay, I know it's the backdrop, but you don't need all of, this is what you call dead space. I know it can be part of the story, but if you would just kind of crop it right about there, you know what? And maybe just an inch here, you got a lot of foliage here. You don't need as much. It tells a story, but this would make a perfect panoramic shot. This is a perfect panel here. Take off. Mountains up, you've got enough mountains there if you cut there and it tells the same story. And you have enough of this weeds here and here and wheat or whatever. If you just cut it there and make this a panel and you are there. This is beautiful.
Okay, that's
Oh. This work is gorgeous. You guys have a great eye. I'm just so enamored with your work. So thank you. You make it tell us, guys, when we have to come in here and talk about your images. I love these images. Oh, okay, I'll be quiet. I'm sorry. I get carried away. All right, now I got to pick 5, right? 3. Ooh, okay. Give me just a moment, please. All right, I got 1, 2, 3, and I'm just working on the, oh no. All right. Okay, 3rd place. Bottom, 2nd one, right there.
3rd place. Okay, this is called Cowboy Poker. Tom Jordan, 3rd place.
Whoop, wow. We roll. 2nd place is same row all the way at the end.
Right here.
The potential panel on there. You are all so wealthy.
Okay, Rustic Barnes, Kathy Newman, 2nd place.
Okay, in first place, we're on the bottom row again, the third image. That, you need to see this one on the screen, it just pops.
This one here?
Yeah,
And that is, Old Jones Gap Church in March, Christine Wilkins, first place.
okay. Okay, a couple of honorable mentions here that I want to make a mention of. Only because I'm gonna draw a number of them, because that first one at the top, I would never take that photo, and I admire the maker for that. Because it was well done, they did it.
And that's Glowing Truck, Kathy Newman, HM.
Oh, if you move over to the tree in the center, Tom, yeah, it's right there.
Okay, that is Test of Time, Kathy Newman, HM.
Oh. And two more, you got the Cowboys, the five of them up on the right there.
And that is Cowboys Waiting for the Stagecoach, Tom Jordan, HM.
Okay, and the last one, I love the parasol, I'm gonna get into that, not because of the parasol. I love the balance there, the figure on the right with the parasol and the mutedness, way that was all worked, well done.
And that's Adelia John Gilderman, HM.
The others, again, well, all of these are just wonderful, so thank you. Thank you for letting me look at these images.
Okay, that's it. We did them all.
Okay,
Okay.
do you guys have any questions for John? Do you have?
Yeah.
Comments online.
We have some comments?
If the comments online, are they the words deleted?
Pretty much welcome to Quebec.
Here,
They're like, you know your license number?
did we stop sharing? Did we stop?
I didn't.
Go.
I apologize, I get a little animated because I love photography. See your work, it's, so if I get off on tangents, it's because I love what you do.
Let me see chat. Will you go through the names and who took the first three also? The first three of which? Here. Oh, here. Who do we need? Okay, I'll just read through them.
Here, you want my microphone?
In novice, first place was Pete Cadillac by Sandy Aubin. Second place was Grandpa's Bandsaw by Sandy Aubin. Third place was Clickety Clack by Sandy Aubin. And vintage, HM was Vintage Car, Brianda Hernandez. In Master One, first place, am I going too fast? First place in, was Temple of Athena, Suzanne Leroy. Second place was C. Mel Carl. Third place was Old Luggage, Suzanne Leroy. And then we had HMs for Bodie Patina 8691, Fred Lawton, A Little Breezy, Thomas Van Langenhoven, HM. HM for Monk in Ruins by Thomas Van Langenhoven. And that's all for Master One. Master Two, first place is Old Jones Gap Church in March, Christine Wilkins. Second place is Rustic Farms by Kathy Newman. Third place is Cowboy Poker by Tom Jordan. And then we have HMs for Glowing Truck, Kathy Newman. Test of Time, Kathy Newman. Cowboys Waiting for the Stagecoach, Kathy Newman. I mean, Tom Jordan. I was in the right. And then Adelia by John Gelderman. And congratulations to everybody. Yeah. Excuse me?
They're talking the game before the church,
Yes,
including on.
sure, everybody's here.
Yep. Maybe not everybody else.
Oh, yeah.
Or you can.
I can do, this month, just so that you guys know, I did put it in the emails, but we had two members pass away this month. Mel, not Phil, Phil Wright, who had been a member for quite a while, and then Tom Spanos, who had been a member since 2018. Both of them were, really strong members, and, Tom Spanos actually has spoken a couple times for different, things, so, keep their families in your thoughts and prayers, as they deal with that. Is there anything else? Okay, well, thank you for being here. Did you have any final thoughts for us?
Thank you again for having me. Thank you. I really enjoyed it.
And I'm gonna go ahead and turn it. Thank you guys for being here.
Bye.
What's your name?